Buckaroo Banzai is one of my favorite films of all time. It's kind of a complicated film in that it was written to exist in a continuity that's been going on for a long time. It's about Buckaroo Banzai, and he's a really cool guy. He's a scientist. He's a medical doctor.
He's a rock star.
He's a rock star, and he's basically like a science adventurer in a lot of ways. He has his own institution. The president calls him for advice all the time. He's so exciting that in his universe there are actually comic books about him. There's nothing he can't do. He's like a classic sci-fi serialized character. He's just one of those like Tom Strong kind of guys, a celebrity scientist. And the film flopped horribly, but it's been extremely influential. There's a number of things that people just like base off this because it's such a tremendous story. There's a lot of elements going on, and you will be confused at first. Just roll with it. Know that there's a lot that's been going on in this universe before you saw this film. And I mean, there was nothing before this film. It just kind of happens, and the director and writer W.D. Richter and Earl McRock, there we go. They did an outstanding job creating a lived-in universe of a bunch of cool stuff. And we're gonna watch the extended cut, which shows a bit of Buckaroo Banzai's origin. Features Jamie Lee Curtis as Buckaroo's mom, but you can't tell it's her. It's got an all-star cast: Peter Weller, John Lithgow, Jeff Goldblum. This film, it's huge. The watermelon scene. When they were making the film, they realized that their producers had decided that they would continue to fund them because they promised them the money. They couldn't violate the contract, but that they've effectively abandoned the film, and they weren't going to promote it well. They weren't going to do their best to like make the film a success. So they realized that their producers weren't watching the dailies anymore. So they filmed this scene with this watermelon. It was totally unscripted, and to see if they were still watching the dailies. They weren't. They never caught it. They never asked, what was that scene? Why did you film that? So, nonsense watermelon scene, that's where it comes from. There is an in-continuity explanation, though. The watermelon is in a vice. The Banzai Institute was engineering a watermelon that was capable of being deployed from a plane to feed starving countries. This amazing cake of Electoid made by Kristen.
That's awesome.
These are American cheeseburger flavored crisps. Both are really good.
Pretty close to a cheeseburger. Come on, man, give him a peer pressure.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, it's like credits. Yeah. For the rest of the movie, everyone's like credits. Yeah.
There was that.
And it's so weird.
Oh, it's green on the inside.
Is it really?
Yeah, kind of. It's got some green. It's got green. It's got the green stuff and black.
Green and black.
You know, black blood of the earth.
Red lectin.
Don't you mean oil? No, I mean black blood of the earth.
Our films usually have a connection.
Yeah.
With this one, it's kind of an intimate connection and a subtle connection. It's, you know, Buckaroo Banzai and Big Trouble in Little China.
What?
It's really subtle, like a feather.
Buckaroo Banzai was written by W.D. Richter, and he, you know, planned to make a series out of it, but it didn't take. It was a commercial failure. And of course, at the end of Buckaroo, it says the next film will be Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime League, and that didn't happen. But then he was asked to write the script, or rewrite the script for Big Trouble in Little China. And in Buckaroo Banzai, in the director's cut, they talk about Hinoi Shan, and the leader of the World Crime League, this evil Asian mastermind who's been alive for countless eons, like a long goddamn time. And in all the supplemental Buckaroo Banzai material, he basically paints a picture of essentially Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China. So the going theory, though it hasn't been fully substantiated, is that Big Trouble in Little China is based almost entirely off of a lot of the concepts that would have been applied to Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime League. Maybe even as far as being adapted from a script that could have been written for Buckaroo Banzai and the World Crime League.
Yeah, you know, the original script for Buckaroo, Big Trouble in Little China actually took place in the 1800s. It was a Western setting, same kind of adding a Chinese mysticism to the Old West. They brought in D.W. Richter. He completely rewrote it and changed everything. And I think actually the original authors of the original screenwriters actually got credit for it. I don't think his name's actually even on the official credit for Big Trouble in Little China. But yeah, he completely changed it up. John Carpenter was hired on as a director, I believe, which is different in his early films in which he was kind of writing and directing, and he kind of went through a stint where he did Starman. He didn't write Starman. He didn't write Big Trouble in Little China. And it's funny because while geez, I keep saying the wrong way. While Big Trouble in Little China is an amazing movie and because it became a cult film, just like Buckaroo Banzai, again, commercial failure, didn't do well, and actually completely estranged John Carpenter from Hollywood. After that, the next movie he did was Prince of Darkness and They Live, and from then on it was very low budget. But I mean, this was kind of the high point of his Hollywood career, where he was getting these big budget films, and it was kind of like where the wave crashed for him in Hollywood, and he started doing smaller films again. So
and before we leave Buckaroo Banzai altogether, it's important to note that the extra material made for Buckaroo Banzai is all incredible and has a massive amount of depth, because Buckaroo Banzai is a film that's very tangential and you don't always know what it's talking about because it lives in a world where it understands itself but nothing else is. So this book, which is rather thick, is the film novelization of Buckaroo Banzai as told by the characters through personal accounts and government documents of these events. And it's full of amazing quotes and factoids, like the film times a million. Here's a great quote. "I speak Spanish to God, French to women, English to men, and Japanese to my horse."
There you go. Enjoy.
Okay. Dear Cappy, with one P. Thank you for the friendship over the years. You've always provided me with a place to lay my head and rest my feet. That's right, my lap. Shalom namaste. Nick and Chrissy. Mickey Mouse. What's in here? Shalom. Yeah! Nick is going to be getting me a
what?
Jack Burton Fu Manchu replica from our friends at Found Item Clothing.
That is pretty epic.
They sell those?
Yeah, these are the guys who do the Real Genius shirts. Well, you know, Buckaroo's a lot more tangential. It's a lot wilder. It's you know, very hard to explain, very hard for anybody to get the first watch through. And of course, Big Trouble in Little China is way more concise, way more focused, and way more action-packed. You know, I'm sure everybody liked it more. But while it's, I guess, a better film in a lot of ways, Buckaroo, because of its complexity, is, you know, my favorite.